in the dirt. Scars tied together by the pain and the hurt. Dark humor spinning like a bullet on a spree. Truth that slices deep, damn it bleeds so free. They don't dress it up, they don't sugar the core. Two battle-worn souls bringing thunder to the floor. Unfiltered fire spin what they see. The Unapologetic podcast, raw and obscene. Crushing the lies of an old machine. Shouting for brothers lost unseen. Laughing at the edge where the madness roars. Breaking the silence, pounding through locked doors. Dress it up, they don't sugar the core. Two battle-worn souls bringing thunder to the floor. Unfiltered fire spin what they've seen. The Unapologetic podcast, raw and obscene. Raw and obscene. Raw and obscene.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Unapologetic Veterans Podcast. I am your host, the Unapologetic Veteran.
And I'm Stalls, the other guy.
just some random dude.
Some random dude.
Man, so how was your week?
Oh, man. I just want to tell you this new strain of freaking stomach bug that is out there. All right. It is wild. All right, so
it can't be that bad.
No. Let me set the stage for you, okay? So Sunday night, I'm feeling kind of right after my podcast I did with Willis on Sunday night, and I'm feeling kind of icky. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go to bed early, man. I'm not gonna stay up. So I'm laying in bed. I wake up Monday. I'm feeling like crap, dude. I'm talking like body aches. Freaking, my skin is hot to the touch. I'm just feeling like crap. Go all through the day at work, right? I'm the general manager of a warehouse, right? So I have to open up the doors for everybody and get in there and get everything going. And I get home Friday night and I take my freaking temperature.
You mean Monday night?
Yeah, Monday night. And I'm laying in bed. I'm like, I got to take my temperature, dude. I need to know what it is. And I took my temperature and it said error on my electric thermometer.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, so I tested my wife and it said normal, like 98.6, right? 98.7, whatever. So I'm like, all right, this has got to be a joke. Maybe it just can't read past 103 or some shit. So I'm laying in bed, I fall asleep, and dude, I have the weirdest dream I have ever had. Okay. I'm talking about fever dream, delirium. I'm riding a motorcycle through space. All right. That is what it was. It was like an out of body experience, dude. It was crazy. Worst stomach bug I've ever had in my entire life. But I'm finally getting over it. I was actually able to keep down some food today. So everything's getting back to normal. Thank the Lord.
You made it out of the danger zone, huh?
I did. I honestly rolled over Monday night and told my wife, I was like, look, this might be the end. If I don't wake up tomorrow morning, it got me.
Hey, I mean, first thought that comes to my mind is we need to make a short story video on your dream.
Yes, absolutely. Short story video on the dream, riding a motorcycle through space. I did a wheelie on the asteroid belt. All right. Yes. All right. It is what it is.
I mean, I guess it could be worse. I mean, that's like you were on something kind of dream, but hey, I mean,
right, exactly.
Body does weird things when you're sick. I fully understand that. So I heard you have a meme that you want to show everybody.
Well, I'm not going to show everybody the meme because I mean, it just so everybody knows how I feel about Shedeur Sanders, right? Is what it is. So Shador was picked.
I think
fifth
we have
round.
lost Stalls momentarily.
No,
Maybe. Is he back?
no, I'm back. Are you back?
I'm back. We're
All right,
back.
cool. Jeez. All right. Anyway,
Let's
so everybody knows how I feel about Shador Sanders, right? All right. He was picked in the 5th round. I don't like the guy. Don't think he was quality NFL draft material, whatever. But I just want everybody to realize it took 3 days to pick Shador Sanders. It only took 2 days to pick a Pope. Okay. So, I mean,
precedence. In other news, the New York Knicks are up 2 games on the Boston Celtics. We can all rejoice. Basketball in New York is good, temporarily. Golden State is up a game on Minnesota, but Steph Curry got hurt. So, man, sports. Go team.
Go Timberwolves.
No, never.
Look, man, I told you I have a weird history when it comes to sports, right? I'm a fan of teams based on where I was, when I was there, and when I got to see my first NBA game.
Next, you're going to say you're a Browns fan.
No, absolutely not. Never will be.
Oh, come on.
Never will be. No, not possible. However, in real world news, there was a clash between India and Pakistan. 125 jets in a dogfight for over an hour and a half. Now, if these statistics are true, that would be the largest dogfight since World War II.
I don't know whether to be concerned or impressed.
I mean, I'm impressed, that it lasted an hour and a half with all the technology that we have. So, I mean, they went to guns, right? I mean, it wasn't straight missiles the whole time.
Yeah, I have to flip to guns.
Yeah, flip to guns. But at this point, we do as a world probably need to be a little bit terrified. India, Pakistan, both nuclear powers, both have nuclear arsenals. So yes, a little bit worried, maybe. Have there been problems in the past where they've shot down each other? Yes, 2019, it happened. So yeah, it is what it is.
I feel in my senses a new Top Gun coming out.
Yes,
actually, I think that is a real thing.
Yes, so there is, but I think it's going to be, if you wanted to make a joke about it, you could do the Patel version of Top Gun.
We could do the Team America World Police version.
There you go. There you go. I'm so Ronry.
Oh, speaking of that, tell us about the speech you gave.
Speech?
With all your guys from the movie.
Oh yeah. All right. So I'm not sure that's 100% appropriate for the podcast, but if you've seen the movie Team America, there's a speech in there that he gives about what type of person you want to be. That speech may or may not have been given to people that I know. So, yeah.
Oh, come on.
That is a true managerial way of doing things. If you want to tell people how to be, tell them how to be a dick. Okay?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So, the next thing. So, I don't know about the Army, but in the Marine Corps, we have what's called Field Day. Everybody loves Field Day. If Willis is hanging around in the chat, I'm sure he can chime in about his experience with field days. But basically, every Thursday night is field day. You clean your barracks, offices, maybe, for Friday morning inspection. I want to know, in your service in the Army, did you have any wild stories that would go along with that?
So I can only tell you from like AIT, right? When I was in AIT, we did have to clean the barracks every Sunday after church. And the DIs or drill instructors or drill sergeants, whatever you want to call them, they were not around very much on Sundays. So we had pretty much free reign of the starship. You know, that's what they called the barracks, the starship. I mean, it literally is. It's a 3-story star-looking building with, you know, different corridors. But so we would have now, and I'm sure you guys had the electric polishers that
the buffers.
The buffers.
Yeah.
So we may or may not have moved all of the bunks to the side and had buffer races down the middle of the barracks floor. And then one guy actually spun off and broke his arm. And I will tell you that we got smoked for a very long time for that. Yeah, it was bad, but they were fun. It was a good way to just blow off some steam, have some buffer races. But yeah, that came to an end real quick.
Who doesn't love a good buffer race? I mean,
exactly.
I would say what's the harm in that, but we can see how that guy ended up. I've got two for you. The first one, I'm in MOS school in Virginia. And it's on an Army base. So Marines on an Army base looks weird already, especially when we live there. We hold formation there. There's a lot of questions. Well, this particular formation, we had, let me back up a second. So we had, in my class, there was 12 or 14 of us maybe. We'll say 12 to make it easier. So of the 12 of us, 11 of us were boots, fresh out of boot camp. Or at least we'd spent some time there, but we hadn't been to the fleet, hadn't been to another unit. We had one lat mover there. He was a corporal. He was half deaf. And, you know, sometimes I wonder what happened to the guy. And I'll get to that in a second. But anyways, so he's like, look, formation, green on, or he's like, formation, you know, normal attire, no green on green. You don't have to dress up, like, it's cool. So we show up the appointed place and time, and there's this one kid, one Marine that was there. Still talk to him to this day. He's a good friend of mine. He's fucking hilarious. He shows up in a white t-shirt. Well, in the Marine Corps, you can't wear just a plain white tee. The plain white tee is for dress uniform only, right? You can't just walk around with it. Well, he, the weekend prior, had gone to Atlantic City and went to one of them little street vendors and had got a shirt, a plain white shirt that said right here, this is not a plain white shirt, airbrushed on there. He shows up to formation, and of course, this corporal that was in charge of us loses his ever-loving fucking mind, and you're going to go change that right now. You know the Marine Corps order that says you cannot wear that. And he's like, it's not a plain white shirt. Like, this is airbrushed on here. Like, it's not coming off. And he's like, I'm not changing my shirt. I'm in the proper attire. And so, of course, here come our instructors. And, like, Corporal immediately goes straight to him, starts ratting him out. And so they come over, what's going on? And so they come over, they send him away. They talk to us and like, look, we understand what you're trying to do, but please don't. Like, just don't. Like, that's a line that, yes, technically you're right, but you don't want to play games with. And so we're like, okay. So he runs upstairs, grabs a gray shirt that says the exact same thing. This is not a plain white t-shirt, which was fine. It was great. No big deal. And then here comes our NCO back. And then my instructor in front of the whole platoon was like, he's right. You're wrong. Shut the fuck up. Don't want to hear anything more about it. So back to this guy, right? So he used to freak out whenever we'd have leave. Hey, if you're going to go somewhere, sign out. If you're going to go do this, make sure you let somebody know, take a buddy. Well, he was dating a girl from Toronto. So from Fort Belvoir, Virginia to Toronto was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours. So Friday after formation, he would drive to Toronto and then come back and like start yelling at us for all the shit that he thought we did, but he was never there. The way we found out about this is he was late to formation one day, which is a no-no. And he comes out there. Well, he goes straight up to his room. They go to his car because we like to like lift his wiper blades up, put popcorn in the exhaust, so when he starts his corn, it pops popcorn, stuff like that. And right there was his passport and his entry, like a thing that said he'd been to Canada. And anytime he yelled at us after that, we're like, hey, you remember that time you went to Canada? No, we ain't playing this game. So we got away with anything we wanted after that. Like, he never said a word to us, period. And then my last story. So we had to clean our floors. Do you know what Brasso is?
Yes.
Okay. So we had to use Brasso on all of our brass. We polish it. Well, I remember this private had got this brilliant idea that says, well, if we use Brasso, why can't I use Pledge? So he swept his floor, mopped it, and then pledged his floor. Fast forward Friday morning for inspection, in walks the first sergeant. Down goes first sergeant. He walked on the floor and slipped. And he just stood there, parade rest outside of his door. I don't know how he didn't laugh. I mean, we were all laughing. We all got yelled at for laughing at him. But needless to say, he never had a field day again, ever.
Wow. Wow.
So kids out there, if you're ever thinking about going to boot camp and you want to get somebody, pledge your floors. There you go. Slicker now shit, as they say. So after last week's episode, we focused a lot on mental health and the VA and all the fuckery that is with all of that VA organization and trying to help veterans out with their mental health. I want to kind of go into that a little bit. So I posted some clips on YouTube, and I just want to read a couple of the comments that were on there. Let me pull up this one. Where did it go? Well, now I can't find it. The long of the short of it is a couple of the comments where, saying, hey, like, you guys are getting the message out there, like, keep doing it. They're not, like, one guy right here said, all over lies were told to us. And so, like, it kind of got my brain housing group moving when it comes to this, right? Like, why should we stop, right? Like, why should we stop this conversation? There's a lot that we can expand on. There's a lot that we can continue to help veterans circumvent the ultimate sacrifice at the hands of themselves, right? I know when we're in the moment and something's going on, we hear all these stories about how an unexpected phone call or the unexpected person being at this place that you're going to do something, or, your family's leaving and then they come back and randomly and they don't know that they stopped you, but they stopped you. Like, it hurts, right? I watched, I seen a video on TikTok yesterday of this guy. He has no affiliation with the military, and he was super depressed. He basically told his family goodbye, wrote a note, did all the things. He was going to Waffle House to have his last meal, so to speak. and he didn't want to sit at the bar, so he asked some random guy, "Hey man, I'll pay for your food. Just sit with me." And he said that dude had diarrhea of the mouth, telling him about how bad his life sucks, about how he's going through divorce and all kinds of stuff. And he said, at that moment, I realized that maybe my life isn't that bad. Maybe there's somebody out there that's got it worse than I do. And he made it a point to start talking to people. You know, I think that we need to, if you see a veteran, hey man, or what's up? What's going on? You know, just simple as that. And if they give you that, never been better, you know, or I'm all right. Well, what's really going on?
Right.
You know,
asking that next hard question.
Yeah, that follow up question. You know, what does that look like? You know, like you said, you've got this call tree, right? Where you've got 7 guys you call, your buddy's got however many guys, and then just it continues down the line. I think we need to either we either need to make, I don't want to say mandatory, but we need to like implement that in all our groups, right? Like for example, you were sick this week and I didn't hear from you, and I was like, did you die? Like, are you all right? Like,
I felt like I was dying.
Well, I mean, a part of you died. The 15 pounds you lost died, but
exactly.
You know, like the VA doesn't do anything. You know, they say they're doing all this stuff, but how many people have you, how many stories from people have you heard where they've reached out to the VA and the VA's like, see you in 6 to 8 months?
Dude, so it's ironic that you bring that up. So I'm watching a clip on TikTok today, right? And it's a clip from a show, a TV show. All right. This guy calls the VA and says, hey, my bike just got stolen. I'm out here. I'm on my way in. Is there any way you can send someone to pick me up? Right? It's from a show, dude. It's not even real life. But how real does that sound when they say, well, are you registered here? And he goes, no, I was on my way to do that. Well, you need to be registered for us to be able to send someone to pick you up. Like, how stupid is that?
Yeah,
that even Hollywood is now getting how screwed up the VA is.
Absolutely.
Right in films. Like, they're getting it right in films. And Hollywood supposedly never gets anything right.
Or at least factually, the facts part of it. They get the scenario right, but the facts are only all messed up. Connor in the chat said the VA would rather prescribe pills than listen to vets hurting. That is 100% facts.
Yeah, the VA they have been accused of being a pill factory for so long, and it's true.
Years.
Like, when it comes to mental health, they would rather prescribe you pills that make you feel like a zombie, or pills that make you sick to your stomach, or pills that make you feel like you're not even present. Like, your body is there, but your mind has completely shut down. Like, they would rather prescribe you a shit ton of pills than actually treat the underlying issues. And by the way, let's just go through some of the proven PTSD treatments that are being done around the world right now that the VA does not approve of. All right, are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Cannabis. All right, so it is actually proven, and in other countries, they are using cannabis as a treatment for PTSD. All right, so I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna say, you know, hey, you know, go roll you a J and have a good time. Like, that's not gonna be my stance on it. But at the same time, cannabis has proven to mellow people out. It's proven to depress your central nervous system, which, when you're in a mental health crisis, your central nervous system is at a heightened sense.
Yeah,
so you're trying to depress that system.
Hold on before you already continue. I want to touch on that one. So it's, I don't want to say widely known, but in the veteran community, that is a huge, huge issue for veterans because there's so many that do it and they're like, "Oh, I feel so much better because there's so many different strains. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
different strains that help. That you could have this one for this one for this one for
Yep.
this. The medicinal benefits outweigh everything, right? Like it's huge. I mean, it's so impactful that the VA doesn't count cannabis use against you when you go to the VA to take a piss test. It doesn't. They don't hold it against you. They don't even care, but yet
No.
they don't support it.
Yeah, so it's not approved by the VA yet. Benzodiazepine. All right, so it's another drug that they are not using. I don't know a whole lot about benzodiazepines, so I'm not really going to go into it too much. But the other one, and it's one that the VA is actually currently doing testing on. However, if it's like anything like cannabis, it's going to get denied, and that's MDMA assisted therapy.
I've
So
heard about
everybody knows MDMA is ecstasy. All right, it's a euphoric, substance that makes you feel good. But it's one of those that right now they're doing testing on, and it's going to be a lot like the cannabis testing that happened, and it's going to get it not approved because there's no way for them to sit there and say, are we doing more harm to the veteran by providing this, or are we doing less harm? And I get where the VA is coming, but at the same time, come on, man, this is 2025. I mean, it cannabis is being legalized and decriminalized all over the country. In parts of the world, it's not even an illegal substance anymore. Like, it's ridiculous. MDMA, all right, I'm just going to tell you right now, MDMA in other countries is not illegal. It's just not.
Yeah. Well, for the record, there's 24 states that have legalized recreational use of cannabis.
Yes.
Almost half.
Now, legalized or decriminalized, because there's a lot of states that have legalized it.
So there's
even
24
more that have decriminalized it.
So there's 24 states that have legalized it, 3 U.S. territories and the District of Columbia, in 7 states that have decriminalized it.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just gonna tell you. I mean, cannabis. I mean, come on, man. Just let the guys go. I mean, down here in Florida, if you're a veteran and you have PTSD, a rating for PTSD, you automatically qualify for a medicinal card in Florida. So, be that as it may, do with that information what you will. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and these are treatments that the VA has not approved yet. All right, so here are some of the treatments that the VA does approve. Now, I'm just going to let you know some of these come with extreme side effects. Cognitive processing therapy. So that's a new one. Not a lot of people have done that. Cognitive processing therapy.
Is that what the hell is his name? The guy that was in our live the other day, our TikTok live. Is that what him and his wife do?
Yes. So that's what they currently go and have done.
Okay.
Is cognitive processing therapy. All right. There have been huge strides with cognitive processing therapy, and it's probably one of the better treatments that's out there for PTSD and mental health and depression and anxiety and stuff like that. But prolonged exposure therapy. All right, all that does right there is shock the central nervous system. This is what it's I guess, summary is involves gradually confronting traumatic memories and situations to reduce fear and avoidance. So basically, you're going to gradually put me back into the situation that caused me to have PTSD and mental health issues to begin with. Okay, I can see where that might work in rewiring my brain a little bit, but what happens when that link breaks?
Yeah.
Because that's not a permanent fix. EMDR, which I have actually been through, I'm going to tell you right now, EMDR is not what you want to do. It helps veterans process and desensitize traumatic memories through a combination of focused attention and side-to-side eye movement. All right, it is exhausting.
Okay.
Exhausting. Cognitive behavioral conjoint therapy. So it addresses relationship challenges by incorporating family members. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not getting me and my family in the same room to talk about my problems. I can do that. I can do that on Christmas Day. All right. And then of course, the VA's favorite treatment and their first go-to, because everything is a cookie cutter, medications. Their prescriptions for SSRIs. Did you know actually there was a study done by Harvard University in 2014 that showed that the VA prescribed more SSRIs in the country than private doctors did in 1 year.
That's impressive. Not surprising though.
Not surprising, but impressive.
I mean, like when I first started to go to the VA, they're like, we're going to give you this pill. It's going to help treat your depression. Well, because now you're not depressed, this pill's side effect causes this. So now we got to give you this one.
Mhm.
And so now it's treating that one. But now you got another side effect. We got to treat this. And next thing you know, here I am 7 or 8 pills later taking 11 pills a day. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
I would rather suffer day in and day out with my problems than take medication. It's not, I forget what it was you said the other day. It's not a one size fits all. It's one size fits one, right?
Yeah, it's a one size fits one treatment. That's how PTSD, mental health, depression, anxiety, all the isms that go along with mental health. That is how it has to be. It has to be treated. It can't be what works for you has to work for this guy too, because let's face it, my chemical makeup in my brain is different than your chemical makeup in your brain. What makes me tick may not make you tick. So it can't be a one size fits all, because one size fits all leads to veteran suicide. It leads to mistreatment. It leads to side effects that cause more problems than do good. So it really irks me that the VA keeps using this approach, because I mean, here recently, everybody knows in the news that we have seen people who are in current crisis go in front of the VA and literally set themselves on fire rather than be treated by the VA.
Yeah, I think that specific guy had some other issues going on.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
I get where you're I get where you're going with this. I mean, just the other, well, I guess maybe it's been a couple weeks now, but there was a veteran who tried to go to the VA. They turned him down, so he walked outside and shot himself.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just lower enlisted guys who didn't necessarily spend or make a career out of the military. I've seen before where like full bird colonels, like for real, like that dude's retired, most likely making or having a substantial retirement paycheck come through. Like, so it's not like he's necessarily struggling as much as some people, but like you refuse to help. I mean, I went to the VA. This has nothing to do with mental health, but I went to the VA hospital 6 years ago, Thanksgiving Day night. I sat there for 4 fucking hours. There wasn't a soul in the waiting room. The place was a ghost town. And finally, I got sick of it, right? And I walked up to the little receptionist and I said, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" "Oh, we're waiting for beds. We're trying to transfer people to other hospitals so we can make room for you." And now, yeah, at the end of the day, it wasn't a life or death situation. But from that moment on, I refuse to go to the VA for any sort of medical care. I'll go for my annual just to make sure, for them to run my labs, my blood work specifically, because it's free and they don't really ever say anything, but I get to see the level, so I get to see where I'm at. I don't trust them fuckers to save my mental health.
No.
Yeah, like my therapist, for example, who I speak to once a week, every week, unless she's out of town or I'm busy, it's once a week, every week. Hers is therapy first, alternative treatments, and then medication. Medication is a last ditch effort. Period. Like she said,
absolutely.
in her 30 years of practice, that has always been this situation, because it does more harm than good most of the time for most people, because it's not a one shoe fits all or one size fits all approach. It's not.
Right.
I don't know what needs to happen, but somehow we have to figure out as a community, as a group of people, we need to figure out what can we do to make this better. Is it cannabis? Is it equine therapy? Is it, going hog helicopter hunting? Like, I don't know. I mean, that sounds fun. That'd make me pretty happy. I'm not gonna lie, but like what is it? What can we do? Because whatever it is definitely not enough. And I hate seeing veterans every day on all these Facebook pages that I'm a part of. We lost another one. Yeah, I may not know the guy. I may not have ever met him, have no affiliation with him other than we served in the military together. But it's still depressing to see that. It's like every day it's somebody. And yeah, I know the statistics aren't going in our favor. They're going the polar opposite, but I can't sit here and continue to just watch this happen. I mean, I don't know what it is that I've got to do, but we've got to do something.
Yeah. Well, I think you and I talked about it once before, and the biggest thing is getting guys to talk about it, like talk, right? So I've noticed. So I served with a very, very tight group of guys, right? For those of you guys who don't know, I was with a LURS unit. And I served with a very tight knit group of guys, right? We probably I probably know where most of those guys live, have talked to them at least once or twice in the last week. Like it's just, we're a tight knit group of guys. But the biggest issue is we notice is when our brothers stop talking, stop coming to events, stop, replying to posts and stuff like that, hey, something's going on, man. Like, and the thing is as a community, we have to learn, especially as men. Yeah, it's beat into us from the time we're kids, maybe not generations now, but from our generation, Gen X, Gen Z, whatever we are at this, I don't even know. I don't keep up with that shit. But as our generation gets older, we need to realize that it's okay as men to freaking talk about what you need to talk about, dude.
Yeah, it's okay to not be okay.
Right. Talk about your fucking feelings. Like it comes to a point where it's like, not too long ago, right? Not too long ago, there's a guy I knew. Awesome guy. When it came to being a soldier, probably the best soldier I'd ever met in my entire life. Had his shit together. I'm talking bee's knees when it came to freaking being a soldier. The most squared away guy I've ever met. Goes through some things when he gets out, has a hard time, gets locked up a couple times, you know, has a run with alcoholism. Fucking quits talking.
Mhm.
Quits showing up. Family gets worried. Family can't get in touch with him. We can't get in touch with him. His phone's cut off. Nobody knows where he's at. You know, it turns out this guy was on the brink of something. And had he just reached out to somebody and said, "Hey man, I'm drowning.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't throw me a freaking life raft right now, I'm done." And you know, there's so many stories like that it's like, dude, if that guy had reached out to me, I could have told him, "Hey man, fucking come hang out. Have a, you know, maybe not have a beer, but shit.
Yeah.
Come over, have a steak, have dinner with my family, man."
Have a
You
soda
know?
pop.
Right. Well, I'm not sure I would have called it a soda pop, but at the same, but you get what I'm trying to say, man. It's just, it's, it comes down to the fact that as men, we have been beaten and bred to hold our feelings close to our chest, bottle everything up. We're responsible for everything that goes on in our families' lives and our lives. If something goes wrong, it's our fault, right? It's how we were raised. If you were raised right, you know, or raised wrong, I don't know at this point. But if you were raised in our generation, that's how you were raised. You know, men carry the weight. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? We can carry as much as we try to carry, but at some point that the levee breaks, man. And when the levee breaks, you need to reach out to somebody.
Yeah. Exactly.
So having that tough conversation, asking that tough question, like that's the most important part about this. You have to have that tough conversation. You have to talk about the hard things because my experience overseas, your experience overseas, you know, all these people in the comments, Connor, Bob, Tasha, you know, all of their experiences overseas are different.
Hmm.
But all of our experiences at some point, what we're going through is the same. Hey, I'm going through a hard fucking time. I'm doing this, this, and this that's compounding my issue. I need someone to talk to. Here's me picking up the phone. Here's me asking for help. And if we can't start asking for help as veterans, then we're not going to get any better. We're not going to curb the 22 a day.
Hmm.
Yes, is that going to be a end all be all to the 22 quote unquote a day? No. Is it going to help in some kind of way? Shit, yeah. You know how many guys I wished I had known they were going through some shit?
Hmm. Yeah.
6 guys in the last year. That's how many people I've lost. 6 guys. So,
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we can't force people to talk. You know, I can't take a Billy stick to your head and be like, "Listen, dude, talk, open up." But I don't know if we, I mean, everybody does retreats, getaways. If Bob says what we need to do is teach veterans to ask for help and learn to help themselves. Yeah, exactly. You know, I think one of the things we can implement, and I'm going to go all the way back to our last episode, when you're getting out of the military, it's got to be re-beaten into your head that this is an option. And I don't know who specifically, if we say this guy or this organization, like if you're truly having help, here you go, right? But because you don't, some of us come back to where we grew up, some of us come back to our families, some of us, like me, took a job in a city I'd never been to, in a town full of people that I didn't know initially. Come to find out there was people there that I knew, but like all my shit's still in transit from where I was to where I'm going. Like we have to have resources there to be there for somebody. You know, for me specifically, it wasn't the first 6 months. It wasn't the first year. It wasn't the second year. It wasn't the third year. Wasn't the 4th year. It's probably the 5th year of when I started to struggle with all of this. You know, instead of TRP, they need to have groups you can get plugged into wherever you're going. You need to get the brother. Absolutely, yeah. Introduce people to the brotherhood that's outside of the uniform. You know, like have people be real with them. Don't have some big fat civilian who makes 4 times what they should make teaching this course, or some gunny, or some mass sergeant, or some sergeant first class for you Army folks out there. Like, it needs to be, in my opinion, veterans, people who have legitimately gone through this, who can say, hey, you guys, I know you don't think so, but if sometime from now you're going to fall flat on your face, but don't worry, we got you. We'll be here. We'll come pick you up. We'll square you away. Like, it's tough. I mean, it took me a while to find people who I could share similar situations and get not necessarily the response that I was looking for, but the response that I needed to hear to be like, okay, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm just all up in my feels right now and I need to knock it the fuck off and attack this head on and move forward. You know, like there's groups out there. I mean, you know, Stalls, you were one of them. Our little community that we have. I mean, it just bullshitting, you know, getting on live. Hey man, what's up? Like,
you guys watching me? What you guys watching me freak out about trying to put my motorcycle back together?
Yeah, or watching Tiny eat an ungodly amount of Uncrustables, right? Like,
I know. More Uncrustables than one person should eat in one sitting. I'm just saying.
100%. But it's stuff like that, right? Like, how many times have we had people or been in lives where people, long time listener, first time caller situation come up, and the next thing you know, here we are shooting the breeze for 4.5 hours, you know, till midnight for no reason at all, other than just we're at the smoke pit again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the transition program to transition out and get veterans, well, soon to be veterans, ready for the real world, I think that would be a start to curb the future statistics, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to help the veterans we currently have. I mean, we talked about it in the last episode. You know, we're losing a city's worth every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a suburb's worth every 5 years. I looked at the statistics. So my hometown, I posted a video on TikTok today asking people, you know, how big is your hometown? And I posted that clip. So my hometown, if you go there now, I grew up in Noonan, Georgia. All right. That's where I went to high school. That's where I call home. So Noonan, Georgia currently has a population of 61,000 residents.
That's a large city, my guy.
Hey, look, it's a suburb of Atlanta.
My hometown has less than 1,200 people in it.
All right. So your people were gone within the first 3 months. We get it.
The first couple days.
Yeah. So, but it goes just to show you that we're in 5 years we're losing 80,300 soldiers. If we stick at the current number, my hometown would be wiped out within year 4, year 3. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about completely erasing a city's worth of people. All right, a city's worth of people every 5 years. Is that worth it? Or do we need to come up with something? And I think everybody knows that we're at the point where if we don't get ahead of it now, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, it's going to go. It's going to be uncontrollable or unstoppable. You know, I mean, I think one of the things we should do is, for the most part, most of us are held at knife hand point during basic or boot camp. They break you all the way down from a nasty civilian and turn you into a soldier, a Marine, a sailor, an airman, a puddle jumper. Like, why can't we do something of the reverse of that when you get out? Like, instead of going through a class that teaches you, which I do think it is beneficial, but teaches you basic resume stuff, introduces you to USAID or US jobs, whatever it is, and stuff like that. Hey, we're going to put you through a program that you're going to learn how to do your taxes. You're going to learn how to do your resume. You're going to learn all about the VA and the benefits that you have earned, both educational, health, and anything else that may be applicable to you. And then we take it a step further, and here's all the resources that can help you if you ever get put in a situation, whether it be Mission Phoenix or Transcend 214 or Veterans Aid Network, or the list goes on, right? Like,
absolutely.
Maybe, hey, here's these guys. Or, okay, here's my number. Here's my information. Here's, you know what? You don't want to talk to somebody, but you want to watch somebody. Hey, go watch this podcast. Go watch these knuckleheads get on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or whatever the case may be, and listen to them ramble for however long, right? Like Connor said, there's no resources for any of that. When I went through TRS, it was literally, here's how you write a resume. This is when your TRICARE ends. I need you to fill out all this paperwork to make sure all your stuff goes to the right spot. We need you to check out of all of these units. And that was really it. I was there for 3 days of a week-long course because I already had a job when I got out. I already had a place to stay when I got out because it was paid for by the general contractor that I went to work for. So a lot of that stuff, they didn't even make me sit through. They're like, you already have this figured out.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it worked out in my favor, but what if it didn't? What if I got there and freaked the hell out? Then what? Now I'm in the middle of a city I'd never been to with nobody around. Like no income. So Bob says, the VA app has a crisis text. Yes. Now, I have my own opinions on that, and we're running out of time for this episode, so we may touch on that in the next episode, but we have to. Now, granted, 988, and that wasn't even available when I got out, but
I didn't even know what 988 was until a year ago.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just be honest.
But see, I didn't even know what the VA was, other than this is just the Department of Veteran Affairs. That was all I was told about the VA. My father-in-law has taught me more about the VA than I learned from getting out of the military. That's, granted, he's had his fair share of experiences with it, but the military should have told me about this.
No. Yeah, there should have been a transition program a long time ago. I mean, it wasn't until this year that I learned that the VA had two separate parts: your benefits part and your healthcare part. Mm-hmm. And the two servers are not linked, so they can't just, the benefits section can't pull your stuff from your healthcare section. You actually have to physically request those records to be pulled.
Yeah.
Like, that's like how dumb is that? Like, to me, that is just stupid. Like, I shouldn't have to go, hey, VA, go check your VA to get my medical rate. Like, what? It's stupid.
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna say that.
Come on, guys, talk to each other. No,
Right.
I don't.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. But there's a lot of things that could have been done better. There's a lot of things that still need to be done better. But it's going to come down to things like resources, legislation, money, availability of personnel. And I'm not saying that our current political climate is to blame, because politics shouldn't even be a part of this.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter anyways, because anything that's got to do with veterans and the Department of Veteran Affairs is a footnote in a 1,000-paper bill, right? That has nothing to do with anything remotely close to what they're trying to get approved or passed. It's a footnote in that. Like, who reads those things? I don't know.
Yep. Legislation's where it's at, man. I mean, that's going to be the real kicker, when we can get legislation and get money to back the mental health portion of this movement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when real change will happen, because unfortunately it's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of personnel. It's going to take a system that's not run by the military. It's not run by the VA. It's going to have to be a civilian run system with people who have gotten military training. Like, you get what I'm saying? So like military personnel who work for a civilian company talking to military people. So
Bob says the biggest problem with the VA is mismanagement. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Good Lord. Can't even tell you. So you can do a lot of things on VA Online, by the way. If you go to va.gov, you can do a lot of things. But the one thing you can't do is change your home of record so that you can make an appointment online to a VA within your radius. I physically have to go to the damn clinic and change change that to my home clinic, or my home area. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can apply for my benefits online, but I cannot change my home of record.
Well, hey, in other news, I did go to the Air Force Base Tuesday.
Yeah, how was that being on an Air Force base?
It was a little weird.
Was it like rainbows and unicorns and fluffy pillows and 5-star hotels?
Kind of. It's not that kind of Air Force Base. It's the Air National Guard base for the state of Tennessee. But I did stand out like a sore thumb because, good-looking Marine with a beard. While everybody else is in Tacticam Air Force uniforms, and I'm like, I don't really fit in here. But I accomplished the mission. I got my new ID, so I can get on base. I can go do all the things. It's official.
What is the first thing you are going to buy at the PX?
Either my wife something or my son a new keyboard. And then thereafter, I'm going to get a Sergeant of Marines shirt because I want one. And then that's probably about it. I don't know. I haven't been in a PX, an MX, a BX in years. So it's going to be like a little kid in a candy store.
There you go.
But everybody, this brings us to a close. I have one last note. If y'all don't know, we are officially live on Apple Podcasts. Go to Apple Podcasts, search Unapologetic Veterans Podcast, and it's there. Bob says no, buy a new gun. Gotta get a white monster. y'all
gotta get a white monster.
I don't drink monsters anymore, but if I did, absolutely.
We are live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Obviously, you guys are there.
I'm still working on Amazon and a couple other places. I've got to go through and get it linked. but the two major ones are now officially live. You can go download the episodes, listen to them at your leisure. They are posted and uploaded. Let me rephrase. They're uploaded immediately following this, but it does take some time for them to actually post to the specific platforms.
Yep. And always remember, guys, this is the Unapologetic Veteran Podcast brought to you by Homefront Sit Rep and Heroes Media Group. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. We're on every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. If you're in any other time zone, figure it out yourself. And always
stay unapologetic.
Exactly. Got to stay unapologetic because I'm not apologizing for shit. I got a DD214.